All right, so I thought to myself while I was disciplining one child, you know what, I have to set up boundaries. So it's a half an hour in the morning for everybody. If they wake up before noon, sometimes we stay awake really late and you know, they might not have enough time by the time they wake up and do what they have to do to watch anything, but then they lose the half an hour and that's the bottom line. Unless, it depends, if I analyze the family. You know, when you do that, you analyze your family and say, okay, what is good for us lately? What's happening? And if you feel like you've had enough time together and it truly feels fulfilling within your family, then you can give it to them if you feel like being generous and if you feel like there's been enough in the family. So, and then a half an hour after 1 o'clock. I make it 1 because I don't want to jump right from 12 to 1 and everybody's in it on it, you know. So half an hour, and then that's just with YouTube. And then they have their phones. And the reason why we have phones is because we have always had technology. Everybody had a laptop at an extremely young age because we homeschool. Now, if you go to the schools, you will see. I remember going for a job interview, and they were at a school, elementary school, the tiniest little computers for these kids. So I figure, you know what? There's no problem with having them. That's how they're going to learn. So it was a nice tool. So they get a half an hour in the morning, so it's an hour for each, you know, for each child on a device, and then another half an hour later on, because they have so many things that they do, and these are productive things, you know, and that I can see beneficial for their futures. So anyway, I recommend putting up these boundaries if you're struggling with the time and losing your family like I have been. So the thing is, at night, starting about 8 o'clock, usually it's for an hour, but it depends. Again, it does depend on video games. I do understand that when you're on a video game for any length of time, you don't know where that's going to take you in your life, you know. There's a school in Framingham, Massachusetts that they let the kids, if they want to be on these computer devices and video games for years, it's an actual school that people pay. And then it's not cheap either. And the kids play video games for years, every single day. And some of them go on to programming, okay? So I'm always afraid that I'm going to take away something like that for my own children, but at the same time, it dawned on me that what is the most important thing? Okay, so we want to give to our children, we want them to be happy. However, for me and my family, I want them to go to heaven. I love sitting here. I found this for free. But I like sitting here because I can look up at the sky, and that's my little window of heaven. I love it. So I want my children to go to heaven. I want them to know who God is. After that, I want them to be able to have us, a family, be strong in it. So I think it's very vital. Family is, if you can succeed in your family, I was telling my children this, if you can succeed with getting along in your family, and not being short-fused, and figuring out how to be respectful and forgiving and merciful and all that there, and actually like each other, then when you go out of the family in society later on in your life, or even now, you will be successful at it. So it's very important because society is based on families, okay? They have to be strong, and that's a very important thing in our family, even with our extended family. I have so many brothers and sisters. There's 11 of us all together between my mother and my stepmother.